So the last time I gave a BBC, I talked about this phrase in the Mahasatipatthana Sutra, where the Buddha is advising us that when we meditate, we should be free from desires and discontent with regard to the world. So I had some more thoughts about that I'd like to share. And the commentaries say basically what that means is being free of attachment and aversion, those two states of mind. Although, of course, we can't be completely free from them right away, and probably for a long time, because it takes a long time to root those mental delusions, mental states out of our mind. But we have to at least try when we meditate to not have attachment and aversion coming up and disturbing our mind. And I think that most of the attachment and aversion that we have is with regard to other people rather than things. Um, and that's the stickiest one as well, the hardest one to overcome. And some years ago, I read a quotation. uh, I think it was Václav Havel, the Czech dissident who later became president of his country. And he was also good friends with the Dalai Lama. And it was something about when we have an enemy, somebody we dislike or hate, there's actually attachment there. I don't remember the exact words and I wasn't able to find it, but that was what it left with me. And I found that really interesting, really intriguing. We're actually attached to our enemies. But it does make sense because I think what he said was, we can't let go of them. Our mind is like stuck on that person and we keep thinking. And I was thinking too that basically we want that person to change. We want them to be different and do things other than what they're doing now. So our mind is like hung up, attached to that. And I also seem to recall here, maybe in one of the BBCs, somebody saying something about how if we didn't care about somebody, we wouldn't be angry at them. Does anyone else remember that? Maybe it was a dream I had. But anyway, it's kind of a similar idea. And also, I find it quite intriguing. And so I tried it out. I brought to mind some of the people in the past that I had anger towards or in the present. And I asked myself, do I care about this person? And I could see that if I just focus on the person and I kind of put aside the things I don't like about them, things they've done and said and so on, I don't like, put those things aside, just focus on that person as a human being and ask myself, do I care about this person? Then what the answer that comes is yes, I do. And so I think this can be a useful way of dealing with anger and aversion, negative feelings towards other people. Now, your mind might put up a fight. It might say, no way, I could never like that person. I wouldn't want to. They don't deserve it. But try imagining that person lying on the ground. Let's say they've been hit by a car or they had a heart attack and they're lying there in pain, in trouble, in need of help. Then how would you feel? What kind of feeling would you have? Or another thing you could do is imagine them as a little child, a little baby or a little kid. Because they were, right now they're adults, most of them. But at some point in time, they were this tiny little helpless baby. And babies are usually quite cute, adorable, lovable. It's hard to have hatred for a baby. So imagining the person in that mode at that point in their life might help as well. And again, ask yourself, do I care about this person? Probably. Babies do kind of invoke a sense of wanting to protect, care for, help because they're so helpless. And this is also connected with what they say in the teachings, that we have all been each other's mothers and fathers. And normally they focus on everyone has been our mother and our father in order to remember the kindness that they showed us, in order to generate the feeling of wanting to repay their kindness, wanting to help them in return. But it must also be true that everybody has been our child. That's not mentioned, but it must be true. And I find that really powerful to think about. Yeah. That like take that person, the person you're angry at, person you can't stand, and think, sometime in a past life, I was that person's mother. I bore them in my womb for 9 months. I gave birth to them, and there they were, this beautiful little child that was the most precious thing in my world. And I just adored them, and I would have given my life for them. So much love, so much concern, so much compassion for that person. Maybe hard to think about, but it could be helpful. It could be very, very helpful. And in fact, they do say in the teachings that the kind of love and compassion that we are trying to cultivate for sentient beings is that kind of love. The kind of love that a mother has for her child, or father. I think usually mothers are closer to the children, but sometimes I've known cases where the father does more of the mothering. But anyway, a parent for their dear beloved child, that is the kind of love and compassion that we are trying to cultivate for every other living being. So I think these kind of thoughts might be a helpful way, not only to um, tone down our aversion, our anger, our negative thoughts and feelings towards others, but also to get closer to cultivating that kind of love and compassion and kindness that we're aiming for. And to close, I would like to read something. I came across this the other day. This is the Dalai Lama's commentary to Kamala Shila's stages of meditation that we're studying right now with Geshe Tapke. And he's talking at this point, this is on page 70 if you want to look it up. He's talking about cultivating this wish to benefit other beings. And he's saying if we can cultivate this wish, then we would gain a strong sense of confidence, and that would put our minds at ease. And then he talks about, the benefits of having that kind of mental calm. He says when we have that kind of calmness within our minds, even if the whole external environment appears to turn against us and becomes hostile, it will not disturb our mental calm. And then he even says, for such a person who's able to have that kind of mental calm, the whole environment is a friend and contributes to his or her mental calm. So I had to read that a few times. I thought, that is amazing. I'm trying to imagine. I mean, not even talking about the whole world, the whole environment, but even just one person. If one person turns hostile to us, and is showing an angry face, pointing their finger, and, pouring out these accusations against us. You didn't make your bed. You left the light on in the bathroom. Something like that, we would be quite disturbed. It would be difficult to have mental calm and to even see this person as a friend that helps to increase my mental calm. Wow, that would be amazing. I'd certainly like to be at that point one day. I'm far from there now. But yeah, to be able to have that. And so I think that these kind of contemplations that we have in the teachings about other beings having been our mother and our father and our brother and our sister and have shown us so much kindness in the past. And what I'm talking about here, that every other being has also been our child. And we've had this incredibly close, intimate, loving connection with them. Just contemplating those ideas, getting more familiar with them, I think will certainly help to lessen our anxiety and also our anger and our aversion if that kind of situation does happen of being hostile towards us, but also just in our everyday, anger and aversion towards other people. These are really helpful methods. Okay, thank you.